I believe that you should be rich. Yes, you, all of you listening to this podcast episode, I believe that you should be rich. And not only do I believe that you should be rich, I believe that you deserve to be rich. And that all of us deserve to be rich because although the world tries to teach us some really false, fearful, and scarcity-based beliefs when it comes to money and attracting wealth into your life is actually one of the best possible things that you can do, not only for yourself, but also for the world. So if this has triggered you already, if the podcast title triggered you, that is even more reason why you should listen to today's podcast episode. But if it hasn't triggered you and it actually intrigues you, then stay with me to the very end because I'm going to be delivering 7 reasons why you should be rich on today's episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show and help break down these really powerful energetic shifts that will help you tap into the energy and frequency of money and raise your wealth consciousness so that you can start to attract and manifest more money into your life, as well as really step into and embody the wealthy version of yourself that you absolutely have the ability to become right here and right now. What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing. Y'all, I am so excited for this podcast episode because money is one of the things that holds the most negative energy in our society, holds the most fear, scarcity, lack in our society due to all of the societal limiting beliefs that have been pushed upon not only people who don't have money, but people who do have money. And a lot of the times when it comes to manifestation, we are wanting to and setting ourselves up to call in more money into our lives. But because there have been these false narratives, false scripts, false pictures painted of people who have money, then subconsciously you will reject yourself from receiving more money because you don't want to be like those quote unquote rich people. This is one of the biggest things that I've worked through when it's come to my relationship with money because growing up, I grew up in an agriculture town, and just down the road from us, there was a ski town. And ski towns in Colorado are typically areas with a lot of money. They're very wealthy, affluent areas. And there was always this narrative in my hometown of looking at those people who lived in the ski town, and maybe not all of them, but grouping them in as a collective and saying that they seemed pretentious or snooty or had the upper hand or just this like funky, weird, negative connotation surrounding those people. And I, as a child, took that on and interpreted that people who had money were bad people, that they were selfish, that they were greedy, that they were not actually looking out for me or had my best interest in mind, that they just didn't have the same heart or soul that people who struggled with money did. And as I've been on this journey, and if you've been on it with me since the beginning, I was in the position where I was making no more than $2,000 a month and really held on to these limitations and these beliefs of if I gain more wealth, if I become a richer version of myself, then I'm no longer going to be a good person. And due to that societal limiting belief and due to that limiting belief that I took on and experienced and embodied, I would, even though there were opportunities to make more money, either gain more money and then push it away because there's this fear of being a bad person if I had more money, as well as just rejected it in general because I didn't want to, on a subconscious level, be seen as a bad person. And that's the thing that I first want to note with this is that this isn't a conscious dialogue majority of the time. This isn't a conversation with yourself in your head of like, oh, well, if I make more money than I do right now, if I become wealthy, if I strike gold and have the largest amount of money I've ever had in my entire life, then I'm going to be a bad person, or I'm going to be pretentious, or I'm going to be greedy, or people are going to try to take from me, or whatever it may be, whatever sort of negative connotation has been attached to money for you in your life. It's instead this subconscious narrative that is running. And that subconscious narrative is based upon what you witnessed and experienced on an energetic, emotional, mental, and physical level with money growing up. So take, for example, you could have been in an environment where you were seeing lots of wealthy people. But if your parents had something against that or thought that those people were bad people, maybe they didn't verbally say anything about, oh, those people are greedy or pretentious or whatever it may be. Maybe they just felt that way. And because we are energetic beings, we pick up on that energy, and that impacts and influences the way in which we then perceive that moving forward. That helps shape our subconscious belief system and what we know to be true about ourselves, about life, about money, about wealthy people, so on and so forth. And so with all of this being said, I can tell you from firsthand experience, going from that version of myself that was making no more than $2,000 a month and was rejecting money, and healing my relationship with money, and really starting to understand and embody the reasons why you should be rich, has completely changed my life. It has allowed me to completely shift my financial situation, manifest multiple 5 figures a month consistently, pay off all of the debt that I've had, create complete financial freedom, and really now be the wealthiest version of myself that I've ever been. And like I said at the very, very beginning of this podcast episode, I believe that you should be rich too. I believe that you should be rich and that you have the power to become rich. Because if I have the power to become rich, man, oh man, do you have the power to become rich. And before we dive into the 7 reasons why you should be rich, so that you can really start to understand how important it is for you to become rich in your life, I want to remind you that enrollment for my signature online manifestation program, the Abundant AF Babe Academy, is going to be opening for early bird enrollment next Wednesday on October 25th. The Abundant AF Babe Academy is my signature online manifestation program that has been specifically designed to help you manifest more money, abundance, freedom, and fulfillment without the hustle and without the grind. So if you feel as though you've been working your ass off to try and get ahead, if you feel as though you've done everything that you could do to generate more wealth in your life and it's just not happening, if you feel as though you have all of these blockers to having more abundance in your life and feeling more fulfillment and feeling more freedom, this is the perfect program for you. The Abundant AF Babe Academy has now walked over 400 women through this process and has helped them create the shifts that they've been wanting to see in their lives and in their finances. So if you are ready to really take control of your life and of your finances with the power of intentional manifestation, you'll want to put yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy. Like I said, enrollment is going to be opening for early bird pricing, which is the lowest possible price point you'll be able to get in on this round of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. And that's going to be opening up next Wednesday. So if you want information on how you can get in there and claim one of these spots, then put yourself on the wait list. You can find the link for the wait list down below in the show notes. But with that being said, let's dive into these 7 reasons why you should be rich. And I want to preface this in any conversation that we have about money with the fact that I understand there's so much nuance when it comes to money. I understand that I cannot specifically address every single one of your individual circumstances in one podcast episode. And that's the beauty of being able to come on board for mentorship and actually get that personalized support within your own circumstances. But if the podcast is it for you at the moment, I want you to know and understand that it may take you listening to what I am saying and seeing how it implements and applies to your life specifically. And what I'm saying may not directly hit or align with you for your direct circumstance. And for that, I just really want to acknowledge that there's so much nuance. And there's the fact that everybody is starting from a different starting point. We're not all starting at the same starting line. And therefore, it may feel as though what applies to somebody else doesn't apply to you. But do what you can in this podcast episode to hear these out and see where you are starting with it. Because no matter what, moving yourself forward from that starting line is going to get you further along in your life and in your path that is going to help you ultimately have best case scenario be the inevitable for your life and get you to the place that you want to be. So number one reason, and this isn't like number one in terms of like, this is it, this is the number one reason why, but listing these all off, I think that number 7 is actually the most important reason why you should be rich. So stick with me till the end of the podcast episode. But the first reason that you should be rich is because more money means more options. When you have an abundance of money, you have more options. You automatically create more freedom for yourself the more money that you have in your life. Because when there's more money, that means that there's more options for the food that you are putting in your body, the clothes that you are putting on your back, the environment that you're choosing to live in, the experiences that you're wanting to have, the potential ways that you can educate yourself, the ways that you can give back and make an impact in the world. So more money means more options, and more options means more freedom. And I know that so many of you are here listening to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show because you want to create that freedom in your life, whether it be the financial freedom or the time freedom or the location freedom or the freedom in peace and mind. Being able to increase your finances and generate more wealth into your life, become the richest version of yourself, allows you that kind of freedom. It buys you more time. It buys you the location freedom. It buys you the resources and the opportunities to really sort through and sift through what is keeping you disconnected from peace and calm in your mind, body, and soul. So the more money you have, the more options you have. Very contrary to the popular saying in our society of more money, more problems. No, more money, more options, more solutions, more opportunities to address those problems in a different way than you maybe would have been able to if you didn't have the financial resources to be able to back it. And instead of saying more money, more problems, I would say more money, different problems. Money isn't going to automatically take away all of your problems, and that's something that I have learned firsthand and have talked about many times on the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, is that I had this belief for a long time that if I just made a certain amount of money, then all of my problems would melt away. That is not true. The problems that exist in your life, money may solve a ton of them because there are actual financial issues that you are experiencing, but there's problems that money can't solve. But for those problems, money helps you gain the resources to navigate and sort through those different things. So it's not more money, more problems. It's more money, different problems. And those problems become more and more figure outable because you have access to the resources to help navigate, move through, and overcome those different things. So number 1 is that more money means more options. Your second reason that you should be rich is that you're able to support and love the people in your life even more than you already do. So the way I like to think about this, it's not necessarily that you can show up and buy them things that you've never been able to buy them before. although that absolutely can be true, one of my biggest reasons for being on this path and generating and creating the wealth that I'm creating in my life is I want to be able to retire my parents. I want to be able to support them. I want to be able to pay off their mortgage. I want to make sure that the rest of their lives is everything they want it to be and more, because they've given me so much. They have literally created the perfect environment for me to have the challenges that I needed to have to become the woman that I needed to be, to spread the message and share my purpose with the world. And that is the greatest gift I could have asked for from anybody in this entire lifetime. And I am just so endlessly grateful for my parents and want to be able to give back to them in that kind of way of actually being able to financially support them in some sort of way if and when they need it. And so yes, it absolutely can be being able to financially give to the people in your life, whether that be your parents, your friends, your partner, the community that you're a part of, the church that you go to, the football club that you're a part of, whatever it may be. But it doesn't have to be actually financially giving to them if that is not what feels the most aligned and supportive to you. Being rich also allows you to love and support them by you being able to show up for yourself in a way that you never have been able to before, and therefore be able to give back to them in a way that you've never been able to before. So perhaps you live far away from your friends and your family, and that money can allow you to spend more time on flights, getting to where they are, actually being present and being with them while they're there. Money allows you to do that, which then in turn allows you to love and support them in ways that you wouldn't have been able to before. Or perhaps you're wanting to create something or make some sort of impact in the community that you're in. You're not directly giving that money, but you are doing something within yourself to be able to give back to those people. So the more money you have, the more that you are able to love and support the people in your life, whether it be directly by helping them financially or doing something for yourself or creating something that further supports that person, group of people, whoever it may be. The third reason that you should be rich is because money is a vehicle for freedom. And I know we talked about this a little bit in number 1, but I want to take this a step further. One of the biggest beliefs I can imagine every single one of us have heard is that money can't buy you happiness. And while that is true, happiness is something that is self-sourcing. That is something that you must learn how to cultivate on an internal level. Money can buy you freedom. And taking that a step further, money can buy you freedom if freedom is what you want to choose for yourself and for your life. Because no matter how much money you have, if you do not want to be free or you have some sort of limiting beliefs that tell you that you're not capable of freedom, then money will continue to amplify that, because that's all that money is. Money is not positive or negative. Money is neutral, and money amplifies what's on the inside. So if you have beliefs of the fact that you are not capable of being free, that you always have restrictions, you always have limitations that are holding you back, money will amplify that. But if you want freedom and you work on creating that freedom mindset, then money helps you create that. Money gives you the ability to have more time, have more options, and be able to choose from the energy of desire and choice versus lack and force. So the way I want you to think about this is that when you are struggling financially, you are typically moving from the energy of scarcity, fear, lack, and not a ton of freedom. You're making decisions from this energy of force and trying to push through and make things happen in order to create some sort of positive change in your life. And the more money you have, the more space you create for yourself to be able to weigh your options, look at things from a completely different lens and approach it from the energy of desire and of the energy of choice. So really being able to take ownership and control back over your energy and what you're wanting in your life by generating more wealth and by being the richest version of yourself. So again, while money cannot buy you happiness, money can buy you freedom. And that freedom, a lot of the time, is what we desire and what creates that happiness inside of ourselves. Being internally free from your limitations, from your doubts, from your fears, from these things that have been holding you back, as well as allowing that internal freedom to be amplified outward and have your external reality match it, because that's what manifestation is all about, is creating it on the internal level first and then watching it manifest as the external byproduct of you doing the inner work to create that internal freedom. And if you're like, oh my gosh, that doesn't make sense to me, or that is something that I know I need to learn how to do in my life, that's exactly what I teach you inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So definitely put yourself on the wait list. If this conversation is resonating with you so far, you want to put yourself on the wait list, because we dive so deep into reprogramming your subconscious mind when it comes to your finances and when it comes to freedom and abundance in general, as well as actually help you somatically clear out the stagnant energy and trauma that you've held onto surrounding money and surrounding the top manifestation blockers. So definitely put yourself on the wait list. But with that being said, your fourth reason that you should be rich is that money helps you better support your health. I know that this is a cliche, but cliches are cliche for a reason, but health is wealth. And we have absolutely nothing in our lives if we do not have our health. Your health is so necessary for you to actually live the happy, fulfilled life that you desire to have. And I can speak from firsthand experience. Again, if you guys have been with me on this journey, back in like early 2022, I started to experience the most intense health issues I had ever experienced in my entire life. And that was a byproduct of me neglecting my body and neglecting my health for so much of my life. And I'm so grateful that I was in the position during that time that I had the financial resources to then be able to do testing and work with a health coach and have different supplements and buy fully organic, nutritious food and really just create that shift for myself in my life. Because while yes, at that time I had generated a ton of money, that money didn't mean anything once my health started to take this turn. And being able to have access to all of those resources to better help my health has exponentially bettered my life and has allowed me to become an even clearer channel for more money to come through. And so I say all of this to really remind you of the fact that with more money, you have more accessibility to the different resources to better your health, whether that be your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. And investing in your health, I can say, is the best and most important investment you will ever make, because again, without your health, you have absolutely nothing. And a lot of the time we take this for granted. We just take it as a given. But for people who have disabilities or who have chronic health issues or who have any sort of thing, they will be the first to tell you that your health is everything. And so reminding that for yourself right now of, if you take advantage of your health or your health isn't necessarily what you want it to be, being able to generate wealth in your life will help you then in turn be the healthiest version of yourself, because that is necessary for you to, again, live your most fulfilled and best life. So health equals wealth, and the more wealth that you have, the healthier you can be. The fifth reason that you should become rich is because you can make a greater impact and share your message on a bigger scale when you have more money. So I don't mean this in a business way, and it absolutely can mean in a business way if you have a business or if you have a platform and this is what you know you are meant to be doing in the world, like me. But this can also be on whatever level you want it to be. And there's not one that is better than the other. They are all important. And I believe that we all have some sort of message that we come into this lifetime with that we are supposed to share with others and make an impact in some sort of way. And the more money you have, the more ability you have to share that message and make a greater impact on other people's lives. This is one of the things that I see so often with people who identify as people pleasers or people who are very spiritual, is that they want to give to other people, but then they have this challenging relationship with receiving. And when you are constantly giving but never allowing yourself to receive, you are actually making yourself poor. You are not giving yourself what is necessary to be the most aligned, highest, greatest version of yourself, which then in turn is actually not making an impact on the lives of other people. It's not helping people in the fullest capacity that you have the ability to. And so coming back into this space and this energy of one, remembering that being rich is actually one of the most spiritual and kind things that you can possibly do. Because the richer that you are, the more that you can give. And the more that you can give, the more that you are making that impact and sharing that message. You can do it on a larger scale or in a greater way than if you are just giving and not receiving anything back. And then two, the more money that you have, the more ability you have to develop whatever platform it is that you desire to have to share your message. And again, this doesn't have to be business related. This doesn't even have to be social media related. It can be in your community. It can be in your household. It can be to your best friend. It can be to whoever, whatever, on whatever scale. But the more money that you have, the more you have the ability to access what you need to create the impact that you desire in this lifetime. So again, recognizing that being rich is actually one of the kindest and most spiritual things that you could possibly do. Your sixth reason that you should be rich is that wealth attracts wealth. So what I mean by this is literally the law of attraction. What you put your focus and attention into, what you are, is what you manifest more of. So the more that you generate wealth, the more wealth you experience in your life. The better it gets, the better it gets. Y'all hear me say that all the time. I have it tattooed on my arm. The better it gets, the better it gets. And this is what it means. This is an actual practical application of it. Is the more wealth you have in your life, the more wealthy your life becomes. And it really becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of the fact that things do get better and better. Life gets richer and richer. You become wealthier and wealthier because that's how the law of attraction works. Scarcity attracts scarcity. Lack attracts lack. Fear attracts fear. But wealth attracts wealth. Abundance attracts abundance. Money attracts money. And taking that beyond this is like, it's not just the physical manifestation of money I'm talking about when it comes to wealth. We're also talking about the relationships that you have, the depth of them, the connection, the wealth that comes out of that, the way in which your relationship with yourself changes, with your family, with your community, with the way in which you are treating yourself and treating your body, the way that you experience your day-to-day life. The wealthier you become, the richer those experiences become. That is the law of attraction. So really knowing that the wealthier you become, the more you experience wealth. That in and of itself, man, oh man, is that an appealing reason for you to become rich? And your last and final reason, and like I said, I believe this is the most important reason that you should be rich, is the person that you become in the process of getting rich. And I'm going to say that again. I believe the most important reason you should be rich is because of the person you will become by getting rich. Because in order for you to manifest and create the wealth that you desire in your life, it's going to require you to fully step into your potential and who you are at your core. It stretches you to look at and uncover these different shadows inside of yourself, to make peace with the past, to remove and eliminate these limitations that society and yourself have put upon you. It requires you to look at life through a different lens and get to know a more abundant and opportune perspective of life. Becoming rich is one of the best things that you can do for your personal development. And I can speak to, again, that from personal experience. Who I was 4 years ago when I started this journey is a completely different person than who I am now. Who I was 3 years ago, who I was 2 years ago, who I was 1 year ago, who I was 6 months ago is a completely different version of myself than who I am now. And that is because I have very intentionally decided time and time again that I am on this journey to be the wealthiest version of myself. And I look back to all of those past versions of myself and, oh my gosh, am I so grateful for them, and I'm so proud of them. But I can also say that who I am today and who I will continue to become is a greater version of myself than I could have ever imagined being. I actually said this to my best friend last night. She came over and we were chatting about some of the really beautiful, crazy, empowering changes going on in my life. And we were talking about how there's these moments in life where you really draw a line in the sand and you decide that you're no longer available for what life was prior to that. And we were recalling those for ourselves on a personal level all the way back from middle school to now. And the most profound moment for me within this journey so far has been the moment that I decided that I was no longer available for a life of lack. I was no longer available for being poor, and I was no longer available for just accepting life for less than what I actually wanted it to be, and made that intentional decision that I was going to show up and become the version of myself that I know I am at my core and who I'm meant to be in this lifetime. And all of us have that opportunity. And that's what you do and who you become in the process of becoming rich. And again, taking this beyond just the physical manifestation of money, life becomes so rich in every single aspect when you choose that for yourself. And so if there's any reason that I can encourage you to go out and get rich in your life, it would be this. It would be because who you are now would be blown away by who you become. And who you become will be a version of yourself that you couldn't even ever imagine to become. And you'll be so goddamn proud of her. And then as you continue to ascend, you'll see that wow, it truly does just get better and better. It just gets better and better. Wealth attracts wealth. Life can continue to be better and better and better. And baby, you better believe I'm peaking on the last day of my life. I believe that it's only up from here, even when there are those hard moments, even when there are the challenges, even when there are the obstacles, because when you commit to becoming the wealthiest version of yourself, when you commit to getting rich, you become the kind of person that is able to and is willing to navigate those challenging seasons because they trust that what lies on the other side of it is so much better than what exists right now. So, just to recap, the 7 reasons that you should be rich. 1 is that more money means more options. 2, you're able to love and support the people in your life in a way that you never have before. 3, money is a vehicle for freedom. 4, money helps you better support your health. 5, you can make a greater impact and share your message on a bigger scale when you have money to do so. 6, wealth attracts wealth. And 7, the person that you become in the process of getting rich. So I hope that this podcast episode has been inspiring for you to really look at the fact that being rich is the best thing that you can do. You going on your journey to create wealth, to manifest the life that you desire, is the best possible thing that you can do. And y'all already know it, but if you need support with it, hit the link in the show notes to get yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy, because this is exactly what I can help you with. But that is all that I have for you on today's podcast episode. I hope that you loved it, and I'll chat with you on the next one.